it's a map that, you know, a lot of teams have studied. I'm curious whether HellRaisers and DeathroW have done their homework. Probably.
Yeah, I would assume so indeed. I mean, we have HellRaisers starting on the fence. It is the map pick of DeathroW. So that means the HellRaisers gets to pick what kind of site they want to be on. They chose defense for this one. And that also means that they'll have to ban the first operator. So looking at what they will ban, they get that first pick. And it seems like they're going to ban a Thatcher. Kind of a standard operator to ban. Definitely on a map like Oregon as well. An operator that we see banned quite often. So I'm curious to see what DeathroW will pick now.
Yeah, it's Thatcher that gets banned, and the second ban is a Hibana. That means one of the heart breachers is off the board, meaning that, for example, opening the hatches will be just slightly more challenging. Of course, you can always bring a Maverick, an Ace, and a Termite, because those are being left open. And let's not forget, Anne, a lot of operators with a lot of heart breach gadgets.
Yeah, exactly. For example, Buck with those 2 heart breaching gadgets, indeed. Opening those hatches will definitely be a little bit easier if the kite's off the board. Well, that's just happened. It was DeathroW banning out the kite here, so those hatches are a little bit easier to open, even with the Maverick, an example. We see HellRaisers with the final ban. They ban the Valkyrie. So the information gathering is going to have to be for another source than just Valkyrie, because they can't use these Valkyrie chems. They'll have to rely on bulletproof cameras of Maestro Evil Eyes, for example. So information gathering is going to be interesting. I like the plays around with the hatches with the Hibana bend, so you'll have to rely on the other things, like for example those heart breach gadgets. And looking at the lineup here of DeathroW, it looks like they're not bringing the heart breacher, but they also have the Buck. So 2 of those heart breaching gadgets in case the Thermite, for example, dies, or 6 picks into the Ying.
Yeah, that will be a very interesting pick. It's definitely a execute operator. With a Ying, you can, of course, force and execute. Looking at the lineup here, Anne, I mean, they're going for a laundry supply room hold initially. Looking at the lineup, do you think that DeathroW might have expected a top floor hold to start off with? I mean, the Ying, how strong can the Ying be on a bottom floor hold? Of course, it's a bit easier to clear elbow with when you bring a Ying. But they have to take into consideration there is both a Wamai and a Jaeger in play.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, because we've had some games during the current Challenger League playoffs where either Wamai or Jaeger were banned, so they have to rely on one of those. But now HellRaisers actually has the access to both of these anti-utility operators. So the Smoke, which is probably going to be playing an elbow, is going to play a lot more safe there. He's going to have these magnets. He's going to have these ADSs. So his shield and his live will probably be lasting a lot longer there. Unless, for example, they throw in these Yinkandelis, in case they throw around flashes, for example. So probably their task is going to be to try and force that smoke out of the elbow as fast as possible. Or, seeing as they have the smoke, and the Jaeger and the Wamai, they might just go for a completely different take and ignore that blue hold.
Yeah, we've been surprised before. It seems like DeathroW is going for a split push here. We have one of the players going for the big tower, and the other one actually going for the small tower. So a good split here. Interestingly, I did see that the Aruni had opened up Attic.
Yeah, that it probably shows that HellRaisers might have a very big roam going on. There is some information, though, over the big tower, as we do see the rotate, and so that DeathroW can know if there's someone going around. But I think it's more like a bait, because we do see Smash on the big tower stairs very far back towards the objective, so they might have actually just baited DeathroW into thinking there might be a really big roam. They might have to spend some time, might have to spend some drones and everything to make sure that the top floor is actually clear, as we do see Jax doing that right now with a drone on the middle floor. But that's going to cost you some time to clear out the entire building to proceed towards the site.
Definitely, there's already been a minute wasted. We just heard the first line scan going off, so that means that DeathroW is up to something. What exactly, that's the question. One of the things they're up to is opening the meeting hatch here with that set heartbeat gadget, running the Buck.
Yeah, this is definitely a more speedier take here, as we see the hatches being open, there's been some rotates, and they're now onto drilling that freezer site here. There is a Wamai gadget as well, one of those magnets that's going to hold back one of those flashes. But now that DeathroW's realized that the entire top floor and middle floor is clear, they can proceed a lot faster. A lot of drones being set up very close to the site. The E-box hatch is opened, and now that Aruni is droned out, she's kind of being forced back a little bit more towards the site.
Yeah, we see that there's a freezer push coming here from DeathroW. At least it seems like a freezer push. Still a split push here with Fusion on the laundry stairs. A mission with the opening frag on Fusion, but gets traded straight away. It is a 4 versus 4. 55 seconds are remaining. A mission, the Thunderbird has fallen. No worries there, because of course you do have those Thunderbird stations already in place. Didn't run a C4 either. Had the bulletproof cam here probably. Excuse me. Thunderbird doesn't have a bulletproof cam, does he? He's just watching the cams for his teammate. The execute is coming in. It's 35 seconds remaining. A 3 versus 3. Make that a 3 versus 2 if Smash gets the kill here. Jax with the refrag, and it's a 2 versus 1 situation. All of a sudden, it's that same Jax who has to clutch this. He knows the position of the smoke here, but that smoke is playing it very patient here, Anne.
Doesn't have any smoke canisters anymore, so they have to rely off the time. Time obviously being on the defender's hands here. Spots out the fear, the smoke gets the kill on the smoke, and now smashes into a 1v1. Jax swinging around the corner, might know that the person is around the blue bunker and has to go for the push because time is running out. Jax swings around the corner, but it's Smash to take that final kill. A triple kill for him in that round, and the first defensive round on the board for HellRaisers.
Yeah, it is a beautiful round here for HellRaisers. It all went south until the last kill, of course. It was Smash who had to clutch it up, and so he did. Almost a very nice clutch there from Jax. He had the positioning, of course, because of those line scans. He knew where the smoke was hiding, was able to pick up that kill, but unfortunately for him, it was Smash who played it very patiently. HellRaisers leading 1-0.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, the positioning of the smoke probably wasn't the best or the most ideal position to be in, because obviously the feet were exposed and you don't have any more smoke canisters, so you can't delay. I mean, earlier on we saw a very big push coming around E-box, so they needed the smoke canisters there to hold off the attackers a little bit. I saw that they were trying to hold like a cross onto Freezer because they may have had some information that Jax was actually around Freezer, but unfortunately smoke wasn't in the most advantageous positioning, so he lost that gunfight there. But the first round for HellRaisers on the board does mean that they have to go to another site, and their site pick will be Kids Domes.
Yeah, so we see here the setup coming up, and we already saw that both hatches, both in the meeting and in the attic, have been opened. We also see that some reinforcements are being placed here near the kitchen dining. That means that they'll probably have a heavier roam or offsite hold, something that we've seen earlier as well. 6 grenades are being brought, and as well as 6 heart breach gadgets.
Yeah, the overlay sometimes shows wrong things, but now they're 4 grenades, and I do like the fact that they have this set up downstairs, because if you have 4 grenades in the hands of DeathroW, you might want to use these from underneath. There are quite a few spots on the site, especially in Kids Domes, where you can use those grenades from underneath. A smoke that isn't watching, you can catch him off guard, but Fusion catches Smash off guard as well, as he's able to pick up that opening kill here. Doesn't have that much HP remaining still, but has those 2 nades, which he can do a lot of damage from underneath. But look at that, he's already on top of the main stairs. Yeah,
I was just checking if you're sharp, and then you are. It is indeed only 2 sets of nades being brought. We see that Adriano is opening the attic right here, has one of those heart breach gadgets to do so. He's now waiting for some intel from his teammate. They do have to watch out though, because there is a Jaeger on the roam. He's being heard here probably by Diana. Or not entirely. I think Diana just killed the cam here, and indeed a flank, and that's the first kill here for Exodus, and that makes it a 4 versus 4. There was a flank drone. Nobody was on it, of course, because all attackers were still alive.
Yeah, exactly. There was no one watching that flank drone. Very unfortunate here, because they're losing 2 nades now as well. Fusion only has 1 left, and they're also worried about a flank downstairs. I mean, the Jaeger just shot the drone and was going off somewhere downstairs in the laundry, and now they might be worried that he's coming back up on those main stairs. Smoke still playing around the Kids' Domes. There isn't really a threat of nades coming from downstairs, but Exodus is looking to go up that main stairs where quite a few players of DeathroW actually are. See the Buck definitely going in another position, but that's the Jaeger losing the gunfight to Fusion, who was already on lower HP.
Yeah, Fusion with his 2nd kill of the round, and we see the execute coming out here. It's Neox who's throwing his Candelas and trying to flash the operators, but he just walks into sight with the diffuser. That's not the play. It's a 2 versus 3 situation. Make that a 2 versus 2. A beautiful shot there from the smoke. And it's Jax, once again, one of the last alive operators. Has to find a pick here, but the diffuser is nowhere to be found. It is dropped by one of the operators. It is here the smoke who gets the kill on Fusion. Jax, once again, in a 1 versus 2. Is it the same operators? It is the same same operators he's fighting, but not the same player. It's a mission this time instead of Smash on the Aruni. It's a 1-versus-1 situation. Jax was able to pick off one of the kills. Now he has to get the diffuser down. Does so successfully and kind of has an idea where a mission is hiding. Has to watch out though, because if he gets wallbanged right here, that would be super unfortunate. It seems like he doesn't know where Aruni is hiding, but this sound cue might have given the position away from the Aruni. Can Jax clutch this up? No, he cannot. It is a mission with the return kill. And once again, HellRaisers, who puts themselves in quite of a nasty situation, but somehow lives to fight another day.
I did like the positioning of the smoke. It was a lot better this time. You saw him actually being able to pick up a double kill there as well. But what was the Ying doing? Just walked onto the side. I mean, you flashed a lot of enemies, so they were probably sure there was at least someone going to be in kids' domes, but they weren't aware of the other playing sitting around Hobo as well. They just walked in, dropped the diffuser on the side, and that actually forces DeathroW to rely on that gunfight skills. I mean, Jack's been put into 1v1s twice now. He's lost them twice, unfortunately, but you're relying on that gun skill to just win that 1v1 eventually, and well, it seems that defenders have been on the positive side twice now.
Yeah, it was quite close, and ooh, I like this 6-pick here from Rush to the Warden. It makes sense, of course, because the Ying is being consistently brought here. This will be the 3rd round in a row where we'll see that Ying. So a good pick here from Rush. Decides to take a C4 with him as well, so I'll have some plant denial with him. We still see the smoke in play, so nothing else really surprising about these setups, is there, Anne?
No, but I like them sticking to the setup. I mean, we've seen that these operators work. We've seen the smoke in a way better positioning than he was in the first round, so that definitely worked out. I mean, there's quite some area denial or plant denial that you have in the hands of the smoke. Unfortunate for HellRaisers that Smash died very early into that last round. You saw them initiating a flank, but it wasn't really that successful. I wonder what HellRaisers is going to do now, because if you defend meeting, ideally you'd want to hold on to Attic for as long as possible. We see the Warden now there. Might be that they're just putting him there so he will have a lot of utility to work against, for example, the Yings and the Candelas and everything coming in there. But ideally they want to hold on to this top floor, because if you have that hatch control, you can force all the defenders out of meeting.
Definitely. Definitely. It is indeed a setup where they try to at least hold the top floor, it seems like. They've reinforced off Attic. They've opened that same hatch. And let's not forget that the hatch in meeting itself can also be destructed for a late C4 toss, for example. It is here DeathroW who are still looking for their first round. Twice they've been quite close when Jax had to clutch it up, but unfortunately for him, he kept losing the 1-versus-1s. Nothing he can do about it, of course.
Oh, Flayers knows there's a drone around security here, but DeathroW is making their way into the building. They've already taken control over that bathroom side, a little bit towards kitchen as well, and the players of HellRaisers are just waiting. I saw 2 of them above, obviously trying to hold onto the attic take, because 3 players of DeathroW are onto the master bedroom balcony. And now the Jaeger might feel some kind of pressure. Obviously wants to hold into the top floor for as long as possible. But Fusion here with a nade might do a lot of damage onto the smoke, and the smoke gets killed. That is not the one you want to have for the entry death at all.
No, that's a very spicy nade right there. And indeed, a very expensive operator to lose here. Was being naded there, and you would have thought that maybe there would be a sound cue, but unfortunately for them, they weren't able to hear that the grenade was being thrown. We see that the Jaeger here is playing it very carefully, and maybe that's also a good thing, because there are 3 operators, 3 persons looking for him.
Yeah, I like what Smash is doing now, because Smash is carefully checking if lobby is clear, might go for a flank up on those main stairs. And if you haven't turned it out, if you haven't checked it as DeathroW being, you might not fully be aware of someone coming up those main stairs. Jax, however, is aware of that. He's holding that line of sight, and Smash knows that he has to be careful. They want to make sure that they waste some time longer, but the Jaeger's kind of stuck in a position there, as well as the Warden. They're opening up a lot of lines of sight, but the Warden should be getting killed immediately. Raico's going down, however, by Exodus, and it is Rush to pick up another kill. Exodus immediately tried to rush as well, so we're back to a 2v2.
Yeah, once again, a trade fest, and once again, it's Jax that is one of the last alive. Smash is going for a very interesting rotate here, and he has all the time to do so, you would think, but a mission has been down, so they know exactly where the last operator is. They say, you know what, guys, let's just take sight here. It is the Ying that's going to try and get the diffuser down, and yeah, Smash's position has been revealed. Is trying to go for a desperation call, seeing if he can see any feet under the drone hole, but he doesn't, and that means that we're in a 2-1 score line.
The positive thing for HellRaisers, obviously, is that they can go to a different site now. I mean, they've had their rotation. 2 of the rounds they won. That means that they can go back to Laundry if they wanted. That's what they'll be doing as well. And I liked HellRaisers' initial setup. They had that one person above trying to waste some time by shooting drones, falling back just a little bit after you're getting droned. But it ended up not being enough because there were too many people from DeathroW above to just force out those players there. We had the Warden above trying to just hold back players. But there was no real utility used against that one. It was just pure gun power to get him out of there. And that's when they had the top floor. And then if you are smashing, you just go run out. I mean, all the attackers know where you are. And if you want to go back to the site, there were a lot of barricades. It isn't as easy to do as you are, for example, in a Rooney, which HellRaisers is no longer bringing. They're now switching to the Mozzie.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick. It might have to do with the last round where, you know, there was quite some heavy drone presence on that top floor. There was quite some pressure on that top floor as well. So it could make sense here. And maybe they are going for a little bit of a more aggressive type of roam. We see a mission here. He's on the top floor. He's prepping some windows. He's also putting some Mozzie passes down. So yeah, definitely expecting them to go for a top sweep, which, if we remember the first round, they kind of did, right? They swept from the top floor, checking if everything was okay. And that was because of those Aruni rotates in attic. That kind of gave, you know, gave DeathroW the impression that somebody might be on that top floor roaming. This time, however, there is actually somebody on that top floor, and that's a mission.
I do like that change because this forces DeathroW to make sure that everything is clear, but then when you're trying to make sure that everything is clear, you have those Mozzie pests that will capture your drone. There's more information for the defenders, which they have to rely on, for example, now that they don't have the Valkyrie, for instance. So Rikers is above, Smash is very close to him on that big tower stairs, and Rush is somewhere located on the middle floor. No, he's downstairs, actually. So the players of DeathroW, they can advance into getting that map control quite quickly, and they are making sure that upstairs is clear. But however, mission is sitting in the trophy. Fusion shoots one of those Mozzie pests and it's actually being droned in by one of his teammates in order to send or to take away a mission there, but he's getting pressured quite a lot from multiple sides right now.
Yeah, and he's now being officially droned. There was a drone right behind him, so they know his location. And it's a fight till you die pretty much here for a mission, and he knows that. He's just wasting time. He's wasted a minute already so far. It's a minute and 20 seconds almost. He does get down here by Raykus and will be finished off, and that means it's a 5 versus 4 situation. Actually make that a 5 versus 3 because somehow the Jaeger has also died.
Yeah, it's not too bad to have your Jaeger fight. You might want to have, for example, your smoke longer alive, but now that these two roamers have fallen, there'll be more pressure onto that smoke to just hold off that site control or just use your smoke canister later on into the round for area denial or prem denial. But now that Smash has fallen as well, it's looking like a very bad situation for HellRaisers. 2 of their defenders against 5 of the attackers that are still remaining. 1 minute and 10 seconds on the board, so they have quite some time to just carefully drone everything out and make sure their execute goes well. Yeah,
we see that Rush is trying to find a pick here. Does get some intel that there is a cam there in freezer, but is it really worth trying to chase that cam? Well, you have half of the players of that row about to come down that freezer. That's the question. C4 is being wasted right here. Don't think he had the intel anymore, and we see that DeathroW is going for a rotate actually. Very smart here, Anne, because they know that there's one of the players in freezer, but they have to watch out because that same player is trying to rotate up, and unfortunately for him it doesn't work. It's a 1 versus 5 situation. He needs to ace clutch here the smoke, knows where the lion is, does get the first pick, then knows that there's a second player, gets the second pick, but unfortunately for him his dream is being ended here by Adriano, who picks up the slacks. 2-2 scoreline, and we got a game.
Exactly. It feels like DeathroW is kind of waking up. Well, they had a kind of rough start to this game. They lost the first 2 rounds. But now we're back to a 2-2 split. Any rounds that they could pull out further would be ideal after your attacking round on Oregon. I mean, to keep in mind, it is DeathroW's pick, so they must feel comfortable on this map. But I like how they're sticking with the same lineup. Even though it didn't really work in the first 2 rounds, they just like, oh, those last 2 rounds, that worked out for us. The utility, we're using it correctly. We're setting up our drones and we're holding these flanks. Maybe later on, first 2 rounds it didn't go that well. But Flares is picking off the smoke. I mean, in the last one, we did see that it didn't even end up using his utility because all of his roamers around him died. So they might want to switch this up and think like, oh, we might not be that relying onto the smoke canisters. We might actually want to have something once again against that Ying.
Yeah, it could be, you know, we could argue whether that's the right pick, because so far I haven't really seen Warden in a situation where he was able to use his gadget to counter those Candelas. In the last 2 rounds, we haven't really seen those Candelas being used. We saw it being used once, and Ying just running onto site and dying. And apart from that, is that really the right call? I've seen the smoke being used in a way better method than the Warden here. So I'm curious whether this will pay off, Anne.
I'm going to be very honest with you. I've seen players die either with all of his smoke canisters still in his pocket, or he's used all of them before the time was actually there for him to start using the smoke canisters. So I like this pick onto the Warden. It's a different thing, of course, and we did see the Ying just rush into the side. I don't think Ying's going to fall for that twice. Neox is not going to fall for the same mistake to just run into the side. Would he do so? Then you have the Warden as a counter.
That's very true indeed. It is here to a 2-2 scoreline. HellRaisers against DeathroW, and DeathroW winning 2 rounds in a row already after they've went down 2-0. They're looking now for their 3rd round in a row. And if DeathroW wins these 2 next rounds and they finish the first half 4-2, what are the odds of HellRaisers still bringing it back?
That's going to be very difficult, I reckon. It's DeathroW's pick, so it's not too bad if you end up losing it. But, I mean, you don't have a Hibana, for example. You don't have a Thatcher. Getting to breach something might be more difficult, even though we haven't really seen a Bandit or a Mute being brought out yet. So not really that hard breach denial, but you have those impacts, which you can use on the closet, which we see rush 2. And now 2 of those hard breach gadgets are actually wasted. Looking at the lineup, that's all they had. Neox has used his on Attic, so they won't get that trophy breach to open. This is huge for HellRaisers.
This is huge indeed. They have to come up with a whole different plan now, and I'm curious what they will be doing. They have to force themselves either through Attic or through the stairs, and that will be a very, very big task to ask them. It seems like that they're rotating indeed towards the big tower, so they might be going for an Attic. We see that Jax is in the basement right now and kind of walking in blindly. You can see that by him not, you know, not being that sure, not really sprinting. He might be going for a freezer take here.
Yeah, then it'll be 2 players there holding him at Fusion. No being the entry death by Exodus through a drone hole, so there is still some presence on the middle floor, and the players of DeathroW should be alarmed about that. There's 1 minute left. They haven't cleared the middle floor roamers, and they need to go towards the side. No C4s in hand, so no threat coming from that from underneath, but there are still impacts, which you could also use from underneath, for example. But Jax is aware of a player downstairs. He doesn't see the outlines, obviously, that we see, but if you tell him to shoot, he should be doing that, but might be catched off guard by that Jaeger just coming into this hallway now.
Yeah, and there's a runic gate there as well, so the sound cue would be there if this Jaeger would be getting pushed here. It's a very good hold here from HellRaisers, and I mean, such a simple task made it impossible for DeathroW, and all of a sudden it is that same DeathroW that is death right now. It is a 3-2 scoreline, and that was it was an amazing hold there from HellRaisers. Let's not beat around the bush. I mean, that impact was huge. You said it yourself. They consistently don't run a hard breach operator. They consistently run a hard breach gadget. And if both hard breach gadgets get impacted by 1 single impact, you make your own life quite miserable and quite impossible almost.
Yeah, looking at how they put those hard breach gadgets on the wall, I don't think they were expecting for someone to trick it with an impact, because if you expect them to trick it, you're going to put 1 by 1 on them and then just try and waste those impacts away from them, or try and force that player out of there with, for example, a nade. But they were just mindlessly putting them on the trophy or on the bedroom wall and then expecting that breach to actually go open. And I don't think they were prepared for those impact grenades that the player used.
It could have been as simple as having somebody on the game's window repel.
Yeah.
It could have been that simple to counter that impact trigger. I mean, that impact trigger has to be quite focused, has to, you know, get a sound cue, but also has to kind of aim for that impact trick, right? I'm not sure if you've ever tried it yourself, but it's not an easy impact trick to hit. So yeah, as simple as having somebody on the game's window repel could have fixed it and made it a little bit easier there for DeathroW. However, that's in the past. We're now looking at the future. It's a laundry hold once again.
They've switched off the Warden, though. I mean, the Warden is no longer in the hands of Flayers. It's now back in the hands of Emission. The final round of the last round we saw, we did indeed see the Warden coming to good use. It was the pistol to kill that person that was jumping in the window, so the utter disrespect coming out there. But I like to see how they're switching these operators, which if you have, for example, the Warden in Flayer's hands or then back to in Emission's hands, kind of shows that you're flexible as a roster and you're comfortable playing those different operators and maybe playing like a slightly different role that is asked from you if you're playing that certain operator. So I'm liking to see that. However, this time they're going for that laundry defense. Last time they tried a little bit of a roam. They had those Mozzie pests and everything above.
Didn't work.
Now they're not doing it. So they're adapting to what is and what isn't working for them. And I'm really liking to see that.
Yeah, I definitely like that they're adapting. I mean, they tried something, right, with the Mozzie. Tried kind of playing till death and seeing if you can take somebody with you. But that row was just a little bit too good on the drone game. I mean, they had a player follow of course follow the drone and then see, okay, there's a Mozzie pest there, we can clear it quite easily. So that's why it didn't really work, and we see the same happening right now. That row is doing quite good on their drones. But they're kind of stalls, right? After they've droned, they're kind of stalls and they run into problems trying to, opening sight, for example. We see that the line pick is consistent and is being used again, a line scan. That means that they've probably seen somebody somewhere, maybe trying to catch somebody off guard. However, it's still a 5 versus 5 situation with 1 minute and 25 seconds remaining. Quite a lot of time already lost on the side of that row.
Yeah, they've got the utility set up around Freezer, which is good. They have a lot of magnets hanging around to potentially waste some nades, to potentially waste some flashbangs. But once again, the players of DeathroW are rotating. They've opened up everything on the middle floor, opened the hatches, opened the walls. And now Neox is there on that elbow hold. I mean, the smokes just reinforced it off, so he's backed off there. But they should be able to get that open. There's no more of those hard breach gadgets so they can open the wall with. But they're putting pressure on a lot of different sides.
Yeah, indeed. Neox doesn't have any of those hard breach gadgets anymore. Adriano still has one, but he's all the way over at Freezer, so he would have to rotate, and he's not going to do that. So pretty much the person in elbow, who's pushed up now already. They have entire pillar control. That's surprising. Rush is waiting here for Adriano. Adriano gets the opening frag on flares, and Adriano gets a second kill. That's huge here from Adriano. Exodus can do something back, and all of a sudden it's going HellRaisers' way again. It's a 3 versus 2 situation. The Warden pick is proven to be amazing right here. Emission with the kill on Neox, and Rykus has to clutch this. Does get the kill on the Jaeger. Has 15 seconds, forgets the diffuser! What are you doing, Rykus? He now has to rotate back up, but it's all a little too late. Smash will be waiting here for him, and it will be yet another round for HellRaisers.
All you have to do is waste some time. Those last few seconds, picks up the diffuser, is able to go for a plant, but I'm very sure that this is going to get stopped with the knife even by the Warden of Emission. This went always. It was a ping pong, really, which way it was going to go, because he saw a beautiful entry from the Buck. Getting that second kill, which is probably somebody shouldn't have gotten. They had a really good entry, but then losing the round because you left the diffuser on the edge of the hatch and you're not able to pick it up, that must hurt their mental like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was still a clutch situation, right? It was a 2 versus 1 or a 1v2, so it would have been quite challenging still. And we had one of the players, of course, rotating from meeting. So it would have still been challenging. Oh, I thought we were going to see a glass pick there, but we're not. What we do see is a Clash being 6-pick to a Mira, and we also see the Finca being played. Let's not forget that it was the halfway point, so we see completely different lineups now that HellRaisers gets the attack and DeathroW gets the defend. An interesting setup here. Playing a Mira, knowing that you can't keep that hatch closed.
No, but what I like is we're seeing some heart breaching denial or information denial, which whenever you prefer, in the hands of the mute. So those mirror windows, if you're able to keep this hatch closed, for example, you're going to be able to play around those mirror windows for a lot longer. The first time that we're actually seeing this...
They opened the hatch, so they're going for a meeting hold probably. Yeah, because they reinforced attic, so this will be a very interesting hold.
Well, then I'm curious where they're going to put those mirror windows. I see one is going to go into the direction of Freezer, for example. One might be going
Nobody is on site. They could literally rush this. They could rush this mirror right now. I'm curious what they'll be doing. I think they've all spawned towards the small tower.
Yeah, that's quite a few.
Yeah, if they had the intel here, and they could have rushed it. Interesting hold that we're seeing here from DeathroW. Those mirror windows, yeah. It's HellRaisers who are quite quick here. They're still setting up, and no, don't go on your drone. Pre-play C4 there. They were still setting up on the side of DeathroW. They still are setting up on the side of DeathroW.
That is a mirror on a soft wall as well. Interesting.
Hey, it's the Rainbow Six Siege Challenger League, and we see interesting things here.
I mean, they're using the utility to clear out these things here, but I think they would have been could have been a lot faster to actually clear those roamers out that were still trying to do their setup. I mean, Adriana gets pushed back now on the freezes does, but is Rika still on top floor, holding that top main window, expecting someone to go for that full-on top clear, but then they have that C4 still pre-placed as well. So if the player proceeds to walk into Kit's domes, they might actually find that C4. They are spotting it out now, though, so they might be able to do something about it. But Rush is still on the top floor, and Jax feels a little bit more pressured now. This very extended roam is being dealt with quite well by HellRaisers.
I kind of like it because they're wasting a lot of time. You know, you're putting your opponents, you're putting HellRaisers in a position that they don't really know how to attack, and now they've wasted a tremendous amount of time. If you calculate it, if you weren't doing a roam like this, around this time point, you would be opening the meeting hatch. So it's not a crazy thing that they're doing this. A majority of the players have now rotated back to site, I thought, but there's still a Jax in meeting.
Yes, and looking at the replicator, he's misdroned. They misspotted him with the Ana replicator, so Jax could go crazy if he ends up being in that position for a little bit longer. Just has to wait out, has to have that trigger discipline, as all the players of DeathroW are now walking into meeting. If he's able to stand up at the right time and use the SMG-11 to his full extent, he could go crazy, but the players are just ignoring him.
Yeah, well, they don't know that he's there. They're going for a laundry stairs push, and they'll see a mirror window there shortly. Smash is about to die. He has to die, right? Surely Smash will die here, right? Jax, you know that there's a player there. You hear him. Is it time to get up? Yes, it is time to get up. Smash dies. 30 seconds remaining, and Jax rotates back to site.
Yeah, indeed. Now Exodus has to drop on this hatch as well, but there's still so many lines of sight that the defenders have. Fusion with one, Adriano with one as well. And that leaves HellRaisers in a 2v5 situation. All these beautiful cross lines of sight are being held by the defenders, and not a little utility or drones anymore for the attackers. Flayers though with 1 kill onto Fusion. Adriano on low HP as well, but the time is running out. 6 seconds left to play. Shotgun in hand as well. Neox with one, Adriano with the last one. And that is the round for the defenders.
Yeah, we shouldn't have doubted that hold. That was a great hold. Definitely a great hold there from DeathroW. And tell me,
was it a great hold by DeathroW, or
was it
poor executing and information gathering by HellRaisers?
I mean, we did see some missed drones. We did we saw some sloppy mistakes there from HellRaisers. But let's be honest, Anne. You come into you come into Zulu pretty much, and you see one of the Banshee devices there. You have no idea what's going on. You see an Aruni gate. You're like, what's going on, guys? Yeah. So interesting, but amazing hold. It won't work a second time though. No. So this is a one-off, because now if people do their homework, they'll be like, you know what, just rush the hell out of blue here and just go onto site.
Yeah, I doubt Smash is going to die a second time by just someone laying in the middle of a meeting and just holding the line of sight onto the hatch. It kind of was like a bait on there as well. I definitely like that. They had the hatch open, like you said. They had a very big roam. And then there was this player, I mean, with a minute remaining, still prone in meeting. Not that good of a drone coming out from HellRaisers, because they misspotted him twice with the replicator as well. But now we're going to go to a different site. They're not going to Kids' dorms. They're going to kitchen and dining, a site that we haven't seen before, because it was HellRaisers to go for kitchen and meeting. So this will probably bring out a different side hold, a different take that we could see from HellRaisers as well. Are they going to go for that small tower take, like they usually do? And
the interesting part here is, Anne, it's their second defense round. So this is their preferred secondary site, whereas for others, usually it is the top floor, the kids' dorms. They are playing it like they're kind of protecting kids' dorms. I mean, they've reinforced off the attic walls towards kid dorms. So they're definitely going to try and hold the top floor. So what we're seeing here, and from DeathroW, is that they're playing a lot of defensive rounds. pretty much offside, right? They're trying to hold a different side of the map, a different choke point of the map to kind of maybe retake after a while or rotate back to site. So it's a trend that we see here going on from DeathroW, and it's the question whether HellRaisers will be able to capitalize on that trend.
I hope they have some better drone work this time. I mean, they banned the Valkyrie themselves, so they don't have to worry about all these Valkyms and everything spawning them. But they were misdroning their operators quite a few times. I saw some drones in the very first seconds of the round already being on the top floor whilst the players were still in spawn. I mean, good luck trying to drone someone in there because there won't be a follow-up to that drone. A lot of players on drones right now, so they are trying to get that information. But Jax, again, is getting misdroned. There was a drone coming around. It was Rikers actually getting misdroned. My bad. There was a drone coming around. Didn't go into Kit's domes, so I'm certain that the Jaeger, they don't know the positioning of the Jaeger there.
No, it's they're playing the zero as well, and they had one of the zero camps actually in the attic wall towards Kit. So they might have seen the Jaeger here, but he is being pushed right now. Finka has rotated to the big window. Might be a good take here. Rikers is getting, yeah, quite a lot of pressure on his shoulders right now. Only a minute and 10 seconds remaining. We still have an Aruni on the bottom floor. And what's going on? It's once again HellRaisers that has no clue how to attack these interesting holds. My goodness, Jaeger got away with a slither of HP.
How is Rikers alive? I don't know, but it was the perfect timing to drop there. As now, you kind of give the control in the hands of HellRaisers, but there's only a minute left to play. Fusion lurking on the top of these laundry stairs, going for a potential take into Zul or anything, but Jax is there as well. What is going to be the next step of HellRaisers? They have the top floor control, have no breach whatsoever, so they need to force themselves down a hatch or just through a hallway, but the time is running out.
Yeah, I think it'll be time for a Hail Mary soon here because only 30 seconds remaining. We see the Heart Breacher here with the diffuser pretty much all by himself, right? He gets killed. He was in a sandwich situation because Fusion was also behind him. The diffuser is nowhere to be seen for HellRaisers, and now they just have to try and get the frags. It is 18 seconds remaining, and Anne, if HellRaisers still pulls this off somehow, it would be a miracle.
Exactly. Now they have only 2 players left on their side. It is a mission with 1 of the kills though. However, there's another down and immediately getting refragged, so it's back to a 1v1. Fusion against Emission. Emission on a little bit lower HP, but he's downstairs. The defender is downstairs, just wasting a lot of time. There is no more time left for these attackers. They invested so much time trying to get the Jaeger out there above. And for what was it? The Jaeger to drop with the slither of HP, not even getting that kill onto the roamer. I'm sad to see the drones not really being used to the full extent. They're somewhat getting that information, but the Jaeger's still able to live and just run around above quite long. I mean, this is not looking good for HellRaisers.
And it's 4-4. We got a game on our hands, I can tell you that.
It's tense. I like it.
We got a game on our hands, and you know what I'm really liking here from DeathroW is just their defenses. Their defenses that we haven't seen to this extent before. They're doing so good on the time wasting. They're doing amazing on the time wasting. And you know what? Next to the time wasting, they still have somebody on the bottom floor just chilling, not doing anything for 2.5 minutes. And then in those last 30 seconds, making such crucial kills. It is an amazing hold here from DeathroW, and I'm curious to see what they've got in their strat book for this hold, because this is usually the secondary bomb site for a lot of teams, sometimes even the primary bomb site. And I see a Kit's hatch being reinforced here with a Goyo shield on top. That's interesting.
That's very interesting. So I don't think that DeathroW is definitely going to play underneath. I mean, you don't have that hatch, for example, to throw nades through if you're HellRaisers then. I mean, they're bringing the zero, which we haven't really seen on the side of DeathroW. It's a really good operator when you're worrying about your flanks or if you want to try and get that information. Are they really getting the information to the top level? No. Are they constantly getting flanked? No. Are they having trouble trying to find all these rumors and spot them out? Yes. I would want them to see, bring a Jackal, or DeathroW did, bring a Lion, for example. I think that could definitely help HellRaisers try and push these defenders a little bit more and try and deal with that roam quicker, because it's taken them so long. They're losing their drones. I mean, last round they had 3 of them left before they went for a side execute. It's taken them really long, and now they're trying to go for the downstairs take. I mean, there are nades which you can do a lot of damage with from downstairs, but I would like them to pick a little bit of a different operators, like a little lineup.
Yeah, definitely it is here. Still HellRaisers that's looking for their first offense win. So far they were only successful on the defenses. And it's an even-Steven game right now for 4-4 score. And once again a missed drone, and I can see you getting frustrated.
Yeah, I'm just waving my hands around. I mean, it's just so unfortunate. You're misdroning and Rikus just gets to completely relocalize. Drops the hatch, is once again on the bottom floor where the site is on the top floor. So they're going to waste even more time trying to just hold off control in any form of shape in the hands of HellRaisers. They're now trying to drone the site. Are they just going to go for a full-on site take? I mean, drones are, there's definitely less. There's 3 left still. We have half the round spent. This is not looking good.
Bring a Nomad.
No, it's not necessarily the flanks that they're getting caught off by, is it?
No,
They're
but
just
at least you know that somebody's offside and you can lock them up. Who also gets locked up is Smash. He gets killed here, and that means that the Finka is off the board. A very important operator to have late in the round, because you can of course cost your teammates who haven't taken any damage just yet to get a little bit more of HP. It is once again HellRaisers struggling to find a plan of action here.
Looks like Emission is struggling to get that breach as well. They're constantly bringing out the mute. I'd definitely like to see then some kind of breach denial. Fusion though on the middle of the site, and once again time is running out. Rush is downstairs with no real help from any of his teammates coming out, but I don't think a breach from Trophy is going on. There's maybe a breach in Attic, but that's it really. And all the defenders have to do is wait. Fusion, however, gets picked off by Exodus. That brings us back to a even man count 4-4, but time is running out. All the defenders have to do is wait. There's not a lot of side control in the hands of HellRaisers.
C4 off the board with that pick on Fusion. It is, however, Jackstead also gets another kill, and that's on Rush. The 3 versus 4 situation, 12 seconds remaining. Jax gets the kill on Exodus, and it will be quite... I was going to say it's a lost cause here. It is when Jax gets the kill with the pocket shotgun, and it is once again the round going to the defenders.
So we're seeing a full-on successful site rotate coming out from DeathroW, whereas in the first 3 rounds we didn't see that one from HellRaisers. So if you're looking at a stronger start, then DeathroW is definitely having one. They're coming back from a 4-2 split in their disadvantage, and they've now brought it back to a 4-5. So they're now up 1 round, and looking at the lineup from HellRaisers, they keep on bringing those same operators. I would love for them to bring another operator with more like the global utility, maybe like a Dokkaebi or a Lion. They're bringing the Florist now. I think that's a very interesting pick, because how much utility have we really seen being brought out from DeathroW? Not really a smoke with shields that they have to deal with. I mean, maybe the Goyo shields, because they're bringing them now once again, and I imagine they must have one around the Blue Elbow, for example, to hold control on there longer. But is it really utility denial that they're struggling with?
No, not at all, actually. I have a hot take here, Anne.
Okay.
Take a Jackal.
That's what I said last round.
Take a Jackal,
or
right?
a Lion. I mean, we saw DeathroW bring a Lion quite a few times as well.
Exactly. Just take something to deal with those lurkers, because that's what they're dealing with here.
Or
go
full onto the site.
Go full onto the site.
Last time they were defending Laundry, they had one person on site, it was the Mirror.
Yep.
And everyone else was roaming.
Yep.
You could shake off this defense if you just run onto the side, but is it looking like HellRaisers is going to do that?
Not really, and what it also doesn't look like is that DeathroW has a similar setup as that first Laundry hold. They are bringing the Mirror once again. They're playing the Mirror towards blue here, it seems like. I think they're waiting. That's quite smart, and he still has 2 Mirror windows in his pocket, kind of waiting to dictate where the push is coming from, and then putting down your Mirror windows. And that just shows that these guys are not ranked players.
It's confidence as well.
It definitely is.
You're adapting onto what someone else is doing, and you know that you won't get rushed. I mean, they're not feeling that they are getting rushed. And like we talked about, for example, a switch of attackers, but a switch of play style could definitely work against roamers as well, because once again, they are going for this roam clear. I already count 3 of the drones being lost on the side of HellRaisers. A lot of attackers on the drones, however. Do I see someone straight up running after those drones? Not really. I mean, that could counter getting missed as well. Rush dying now as well. It's Jax to pick up that first kill. So now your buck is at the board, which is those heart breach gadgets, which is drones and everything. They're losing that very early on to the round.
Oh no, HellRaisers. You're in trouble. You're definitely in trouble here. It's a 4 versus 5 situation. Only a minute and 35 seconds remaining, and you've lost your soft destruct. Next to that, you just lost your Flores as well. So that's quite some, yeah, utility denial. It is now a 3 versus 5 situation, and HellRaisers is scrambling, and I'm predicting something. Tactical timeout after this.
I mean, at this point, they might even have to, right? You're looking at a map point. It is DeathroW's map pick, so that's okay to lose a map that isn't your map pick, but ideally, you'd want to set up strong. You want to make sure this isn't overtime, for example.
So what can they do now in a 3 versus 5 situation to still win this round? Go for a Hail Mary?
They're going on this blue bunker. Also, so much of a defense going on the blue bunker. Fusion just gets the kill onto the diffuser there, and it's smashed left in a 1v5. No drone, still 2 of the nades in his pocket. Gets 1 kill onto Adriano though, but 40 seconds left to play. Doesn't have that much HP, has to go for a reload with the LMG, but those nades, he hasn't used them yet. There might not even be a lot of flank drones. I mean, we see players sitting on those flank drones and potentially giving information, but what should DeathroW do? Wait! All you've got to do is just wait. Just time is on your side. If you're going to overpeak and give Smash those 1v1s, you might as well win them.
Exactly. It is Smash here with a kill, and that makes it a 1 versus 3 situation. Will heal himself once again. 14 seconds remaining. Has quite some bullets left in his magazine. 68 to be precise. Will now fall to Fusion. It is a tactical timeout being called right over here. Yes.
Yes, it's needed.
Is it? Are they calling for a tactical timeout?
I hope they are.
They should.
I mean, you can't lose. Really, someone who can close at the drone. What I want them to do is switch up that playstyle for 1 round. Just go for a rush. It's everything or nothing. You might be looking at a 5-6 round then. And then you can switch up that playstyle. Switch up that attacker lineup, I'm saying. I mean, bring out that Jackal. They're still not bringing that kind of global utility which you have in the shape of a lion or the shape of a Dokkaebi or a Jackal to just literally track someone and have their position so that you can't allow defenders to just, I mean, lay in corners of meeting whilst the side is down or something. Like, you can't allow defenders to do that if you have the Jackal.
And the funny part is, they'll probably be banning Jackal in almost every ranked game, knowing how annoying a Jackal can be.
Yeah, but why aren't you not using it now? Because you need it.
You definitely do need it, yeah. It is here DeathroW, who's doing tremendously on defense, have won every single round so far that they've been defending. That's 4 rounds in a row, mind you. It is 1 round away from closing this map, which is quite good, if you ask me.
They had their first defense on Laundry, and they are, again, picking for Dining as their second side, so not even Kids Domes. I mean, they can't go back to Kids Domes yet, seeing as that was the 3rd round that they won. So Dining is going to be their side pick. They have this mirror again. They are constantly bringing out the Mute too, the Castle and everything. What I'm seeing in the lineup switch for HellRaisers right now is they're not bringing in the Thermite anymore, but they're bringing in the Ace. So they might go for that small tower take. I don't really see any defenders of DeathroW around small towers just to clear that out. Because if you are, again, investing in a clear around Kids' Domes and everything, then you might be taking too long. We see him just lurking on the windows there. Might be able to get a pick onto Adriano, but he's playing that safe as well. They have to win 1 more round, and that's it.
It seems like HellRaisers is trying to clear from the Armory side. They have Smash entering Armory right here. We just saw Rush, who droned out the master bedroom. It is a split push coming out from here. Maybe that's just the way to go right now. We see a mission cooking a nade. Will that nade land? No, it won't. Adriano knows exactly where he's standing. And for a nade to be thrown at his face, you'd have to have quite a good angle on him.
It's good positioning what Adriano's doing. He knows there was 1 player on that window before. It's again the mission trying to nade him out, but the nade just not...
That's a wasted nade.
Being successful twice in a row. So now you've wasted 2 of your nades. You have them still in the hands of Exodus, but good luck trying to get Adriano out there. I mean, time, once again, 1.5 minutes. They have to pull someone else on the window to throw the nades in.
It's the same round! They're rotating at 1 minute and 30 seconds once again without having taken... Well, Jaeger earlier did take a lot of damage in one of the earlier rounds, but now it's Adriano.
He dies,
Crazy.
but what has he done? He's wasted 3 nades of the attacker so far. He wasted 1.5 minutes. What does HellRaisers have? 0 to no map control. That's all in Adriano's hands. He's wasted so much time, so much utility, and there's Jax going for an aggressive push. Now has access to pick up a double kill so far, definitely stepping up in this round onto the double digits. But time once again is running out. Top 4 control established in the hands of HellRaisers, but all these defenders have that great kind of positioning, so they're not really exposed to these vertical angles that are now being made by HellRaisers.
Yeah, we see Rush here making those vertical angles. They still have to deal with Neox, who's has that SMG-11 in his hand, and that's quite a good gun to play vertically with. Now has to watch out. It is a mission that gets the kill on Reykas. A 5 versus 2 situation. Fusion going here for a kind of a hero play. Misses his shots, and oh no, he actually does end up killing Smash here. A 4 versus 2 situation. Both of the players are near the freezer stairs, and yeah, it's HellRaisers who've taken sight. They're trying to get the defuse down. It is winnable, but it's also quite losable here for DeathroW.
Yeah, all these defenders, or the attackers are being shot a little bit. Fusion though, now Neox gets 1 kill.
No.
Fusion 1, so we're at 2-1 position. Rush, however, on a little bit of HP. Fusion, no more smoke canisters in his pocket. And quite low on HP as well. Time is running out. Tries to make a little bit of a rotate or to try and tease the attackers into thinking he's coming from another side. Rush is holding the angle, but it's a mission to get that final kill here on the remaining player
That
of
was
DeathroW.
a one tap.
That was a good shot.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Definitely a good shot, and let's hope that for HellRaisers this is the turning point. It is. Match point still in the advantage for DeathroW, but let's not forget HellRaisers is only 1 round away from taking this to overtime.
And whilst HellRaisers had a tactical timeout, DeathroW gets to talk as well. I mean, they just lost that first round after the tactical timeout, but now they can go for a completely different site. Kids is open, for example. Kids Dorms is open. Dining would potentially be open. Laundry is potentially open. So many different things that they can choose between. They're going to go for Kids Dorms. They're bringing that Mozzie again. And this is where I might see a little bit of an issue for HellRaisers. The drone denial, or the information denial, which, if you're looking at it, already isn't going that well in the hands of HellRaisers. What I want them to do is go for a classical take. I mean, they've done that split take a few times before. Just go for the breach around Master, try and get that sorted out, try and potentially go for a take from Attic as well, but don't make it too fancy with going for an entire room clear and everything. Are there a lot of C4s that you have to worry about? 1 in the hands of Fusion.
Just
so
1.
If they're gonna play downstairs, you have to make sure that Fusion can't throw a C4. That's all. There's not really any vertical or roam that you should be scared about.
Yeah, I find it interesting that the Mozzie decides to take barbed wire here. In combination with the Jaeger, of course. So that's quite some barb. We do see a interesting setup once again here from DeathroW, something that we're kind of used to by now. Even though that we're used to it, it still warms my heart. It's still quite amazing. It is a 5-6 scoreline, still in the advantage of DeathroW. And is HellRaisers finally going for that rush that we want them to? Doesn't look like it, does it?
No, it doesn't. They're again starting to throw. And I mean, looking at the DeathroW, right? Reykas might not be having the game of his life. We saw this before where it took him some time to like warm up to get those frags and really step up in the later game. So that might still be happening. I mean, this map still isn't over yet. Adriano might use that shotgun to just sit in the closet and be an annoyance. It doesn't have to C4 has the bulletproof. So more information that they don't have because that Valkyrie is banned, for example. But again, HellRaisers are trying to go for a roam clear. Are there a lot of roamers on this side of DeathroW? Not really. So that could give them this final opportunity or this chance to get that roam clear done very easily, very quickly, use those nades and everything from below that they have. But if there is no roam going on, they should get that roam clear done ASAP.
They definitely should. There's already 1 minute and 20 seconds that have passed, and Rush is clearing the kitchen right here. What's going on, Anne? Tell us, enlighten us.
But why are you downstairs at the Heartbreacher? Why do you have the diffuser downstairs?
Trying to open that hatch.
Yeah, but it's electrified.
Yeah.
It's not electrified. It looked like it was
That was
electrified.
muted.
I'm blind.
There's a mute jammer on that. That mute jammer has been cleared right now. They're going to open that hatch. So interesting. I'm curious what they've got cooking. think they just want to hold the person that's playing, is going to be playing in kits quite off. It is now a mission with the opening kill on Raikas. Raikas really not having the game of his life right here. Fusion has been hiding in T3 this entire time, has been spotted on a drone. No so, because you just saw that light of that drone blink. It is 55 seconds remaining. HellRaisers is still wary of that roamer, but now has to watch out because that same roamer might be here in the freezer about to come up.
It's looking like a little bit of a split push because a few players have rotated to the big window now. Flair's also on the games window. He's making sure there's at least a few punches in that castle barricade. And Mission losing a lot of HP there, immediately calling in one of those Finka heals. However, he's spotting someone on top main. It's Axis with the kill as well as Flair's in the diffuser is going down. It's Rush onto the side, gets it down as well, but HLRS picks up one onto Smash, gets refragged immediately. So we find Neox in a 1v4. It just doesn't work. HellRaisers bring this to overtime. Were we expecting that during their attack in half? No, but they're coming back. This might be that momentum that they're now finally taking in their side, as you were calling out earlier as well.
Definitely. It is overtime here, and that kind of had pushed somebody out of their position. So it was quite good, right?
Yeah, the second one was just off where one of the other players was located above. So, yeah. A little bit worrying maybe that HellRaisers has to start an attack again now? Or is it not? Are you convinced that these two rounds were enough to pull momentum to their side?
HellRaisers is feeling it. They're like, let's pick a glass. A glass.
Ooh.
We're going to see a glass here. Interesting. That's spicy.
Yeah, Glass isn't necessarily a meta operator.
No.
But where are we going to see him? I mean, the potential is there for smoke.
Is that a rush? That you have the glass on over, like, you know, on Overwatch?
But where would you have the Glass? Where would you want them to
Maybe
be?
in Blue Bunk? Kind of like smoking off, you know, Blue Bunk site and then somebody peeking. I mean, where else would you play the glass? You can't play the glass in freezer. You can't play the yeah, you can't play the glass on laundry stairs.
I mean,
Meeting hatch? Well, you gonna walk? Are you gonna look down with a?
no, because then you'll have to keep on moving,
Exactly.
and the ability won't be used to its full potential because you have to sit still in order for it to work.
DeathroW is going for that.
Outlines.
DeathroW is going for that similar setup that we saw them the first time on laundry winning. So that means only one player on site. That means only one player on site, Anne.
If they're reading it correctly, they could go for that rush. I mean, there is a player around.
Neox has to watch both mirror windows. Yo, guys, hear me out. Rush.
You're asking for them to listen to you, but I don't think they are in fact listening to you.
Me neither.
Very interesting to see where the glass is going to be used by Exodus, though, with the opening pick onto Fusion. That's Giaruni off the board, and that's quite early into the round, which could give a good potential for HellRaisers to go on further. The drone once again maybe misspotting Rikers, though, is fully blinded. So that could mean that Smash is pushing up, but there's also someone in meeting that they have to be worried about.
Yeah, it's the same Jackson. I don't think he can pull that off a second time, that what he did earlier. We see that HellRaisers is putting some, quite some speed behind their attack. After a minute, they've already cleared the big tower, and they've now also taken attic control. Jax, however, should be quite safe here, because he still has his mood chummers to help him. However, is he alone? No, he's not. There's still an Adriano, who's currently in Zulu. Has to watch out, though, because there's a mission outside of main entrance door, holding an angle. And let me tell you one thing. What we know about a mission, he's a patient man. He doesn't mind waiting, especially not when he gets the intel that there is somebody in Zulu. Oh no, Jax is about to rotate, does so successfully, does take a lot of damage though, but it is time to go back to site, and they realize that on the side of DeathroW.
Yeah, exactly.
Just as I said that, Jax goes upstairs. He doesn't realize it.
He's low on HP, so you're going to either pull over Hero play or you're going to die and waste some time. He has a C4 and everything in hands as well. They have to be worried about those pests, but it looked like Smash was just able to drive past that pest without it affecting his drone that much.
Adriano has a drone, and they don't know that on the side. A mission and Jax in a Mexican standoff here, but Jax says, you know what? let me take my eggs and run away, as I would say. It is still a 4 versus 5 situation in the advantage of HellRaisers right here, but they're kind of stalling here and they are not really executing just yet. Just as I say that, it is the glass here throwing. They probably don't know. He doesn't know, because why would they take a glass? Mira didn't know, and rightfully so. And it's the glass with the hero play. He gets 1 kill, but Jax all of a sudden with a return frag, and that same glass is going down. It's a 3 versus 3 situation. 15 seconds remaining. Adriano gets the kill. Rush all by himself. And it's impossible right here. Jax throws a funny C4, but all of a sudden it goes downhill. And the defenders pull this off.
That took really long. I'm not sure if you're looking at the attackers, but Riker spent more than half of that round on his drone. To then push in blue bunker. I like to see these kind of different picks. Half the round I was wondering, what are they gonna do with the glass? Like, why? What's his plan, right? I saw him on the drone constantly, so there wasn't a really clear idea of where he was going to. But initially he pushed in the blue bunker, got that first 2 kills. I mean, he was able to push on further, almost got picked up by the Finka as well, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to just have that collapse onto the side, allow the players of HellRaisers to just walk on, because they kept on dying.
Perfect read here, by the way. They brought the Monty, they revealed the Monty. They didn't reveal a Ying, but they still 6-picked to a Warden. So they kind of had a gut feeling, right? But what I'm wondering, Anne, did that glass not shoot the entire round until he killed that Mira? Because why would that Mira stay in that corner when there's a smoke right in front of you? You know, you would only do that if you think that there's no glass on their side. Because by doing that, you kind of pick off your enemies off guard. And he just sat there in a corner waiting for that glass to headshot him.
I mean, you have the Siege Fanatics, right, that can just determine what kind of operator is getting damaged by how they're screaming.
Yeah.
You can have those Siege Fanatics that know who is shooting by the sound of the gun.
But if you don't shoot.
Exactly.
If you don't shoot, then they never know that you brought the glass. So that glass had literally time to line up the shot and get a headshot, because that Mira was just chilling. Who's not chilling currently is HellRaisers, because they've just lost a round after winning 2 in a row. And now they have to defend. Something that they did quite so successfully before the first split, because they won 4 of their 6 defenses. So now it's the question, does DeathroW know how to attack just as they know how to defend?
Ooh, Smash playing very aggressive there. Might see the player on the white window as well, and gets that opening pick onto Fusion. Fusion's been the opening death quite a few times now. Now they won't have the nades, nor the ability to easily rotate with the sledgehammer and everything he's got in his hand. So now DeathroW already finding themselves on the back foot very early into this round. Rikus is sent into Big Tower to potentially clear any roam or just push on further. But Exodus is still chilling in the kitchen, could potentially get pushed from both sides. Reset the Janus, pushing him, does a lot of damage onto Rikus, but not enough to get that final kill there. Rikus moved back at the wrong timing there, as it was the Jaeger swinging into his gunfight. But he's just being able to sit there a little bit longer, whilst the players of DeathroW aren't putting enough pressure onto him to get him gone there. And now he's got a really good line of sight into someone pushing in the kitchen.
Yeah, juicy. Very juicy. And you see that Jax isn't getting any of the information that he wants. He knows that there's still a Jaeger there, but nobody's really droning that Jaeger. It seems like it, though. Curious why Rikus is not droning that Jaeger or using his utility to his Gemini replicator to do so. It seems like that they're just focusing on the attic here, which kind of makes sense. But however, then a little bit later in the round, you still have to worry about that Jaeger, don't you?
Yeah, and that nade that was just thrown in attic is going to get wasted, because there was a magnet a little bit further in attic, so they won't be able to use that nade to the full potential. HellRaisers just holding their line of sight, kind of waiting on the initiative from the attackers to go and do something. Exodus is still downstairs, I was saying, but he gets picked off by Jax, so we're back to an even man count. Smash downstairs as well. Not really anyone that can contest on top of the main stairs, but some players around that hatch, and Rikus is just waiting outside.
Yeah, it's Smash that doesn't have a C4 here. Neox is going for the execute, but they have to be wary for the Warden who's still in play. because you can throw them candelas, but you also have to deal with some sunglasses on the face of the Warden. It is a 4 versus 4 situation, 33 seconds remaining, and indeed that Warden playing close to the window. So they kind of know that on the side of DeathroW, it seems like. Adriano with the entry has he just swung into Kids? It seems like it. Neox is also jumping in, gets the kill on the Warden, and it's a 2 versus 2 situation because Jax has now been downed. They don't know that on the side of HellRaisers. What they do know now that is that Jax has fallen. 2 versus 2 situation. Low HP on Adriano. Gets the kill here on Smash, and that could be huge. But Rush is rushing the diffuser. Rush with a beautiful double kill. It's going to maximum OT, baby.
That was a beautiful push coming out from Rush. And I was at the beginning of this round, I was going to point out that he was not having the best of games so far. But if you bring it back like this, that is absolutely beautiful. Brings it back to full-on overtime. Kind of saving the bombs of HellRaisers here by just winning that clutch at the very few seconds there. Being able to kill the guy with the diffuser, and then the last person that was pushing there as well. It was a 1v1. It could have gone the complete different way. We could have been at the very end of this map, but it is full on overtime, which means that HellRaisers has to attack once more. Given the fact that DeathroW just won downstairs, forces them to go to another bomb site. They're not feeling so confident with Kitchen and Kitchen and Dining anymore as their second bomb site. They're going for Kids Domes.
You know, Anne, I have an early train to catch tomorrow morning, but I'm not even mad. This is a hell of a game. I'm enjoying it. We're seeing some crazy defenses. We're seeing some crazy executes. I mean, did you see what they did with that Ying? That Ying knew that there was a Warden playing there, kept throwing them candelas, but then just waited for the perfect moment to jump in. He knew, like, okay, I'm kind of baiting the Warden here. Amazing play, but unfortunately it did not work out there for DeathroW. Same DeathroW who can now defend again. And if we look at the statistics of the past few rounds, that's kind of where they shine, isn't it?
It definitely looks like that indeed. They keep on bringing that mirror. Might go for a lot of utility invested in downstairs, as there are quite a few walls reinforced and everything downstairs. They might put some mirrors there, or have some defenders playing that. But this is a mirror-facing meeting.
They're switching it up, because we saw earlier that they had that hatch reinforced in Kids. And now they have actually opened that. So they're playing a very interesting hold here. And they're just switching things up. Don't we love switching things up? They're keeping it spicy. We love it, don't we?
Yeah, but I wonder why. The initial push from HellRaisers kept on coming from Small Tower. So
yep.
Next push is Dining, then onto Kitchen. You're going to be very exposed if you're looking at a mirror window that's facing Meeting.
It's It can go either way. Honestly, they brought a Twitch, which is an amazing counter pick, by the way. Bringing that Twitch, knowing that DeathroW keeps bringing that mirror. One of the mirror windows now has fallen. Yeah, you see Rykas, he's frustrated. He's like, man, why didn't I just watch that drone hole? Second mirror window fallen. Your utility here has been quite useless by now. You also die. Perfect clear here from HellRaisers. Just as I say that, Adriano gets the refrag and Smash. That means that the Ying is off the board, and that's one of the execute operators. Pretty much the only execute operators that's now off the board. Jax still roaming, still being a pest, still being annoying here for HellRaisers. The question is, do they know where Jax is? Jax already on 15 kills, mind you.
The fact that Smash has fallen, he's watching a mission now. He's not watching any flank drones whatsoever. I mean, the rear players of DeathroW still on the roam. You could also be trying to be an annoyance on the top of the main stairs, but
why are you
not watching a flank drone?
Why are you not watching any drones here, Smash? Just watching. It could be a spectator bug, of course. I mean, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. We see an interesting angle here, all the way from Big Tower, of course, to the Armory stairs. Could prove to be, you know, quite some pain. It's Jax now who is playing near that Armory. However, Flores has fallen, and it means no more Twitch drone in play. A mission trying to get a nade kill, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't work like that. You can keep throwing them blindly, but unfortunately, you know, DeathroW has learned from that. They're not playing on the default positions. They're trying to get the wall open here, but they're out of time, man. 25 seconds.
It is, and there's, I mean, the last drone that was left in the hands of Emission now gets killed, so that leaves HellRaisers in a 2v4 situation. 1v4, I would say. Jax now picking up a double kill. Exodus finds him with 1v4, gets 1 kill onto Jax, but time is running out. 10 seconds. It is, however, the last kill to be done here. First map goes in the way of DeathroW. It was their map pick, so nothing too worried to be about.
Definitely not. I mean, it was a close match, right? So in the end of the day, I mean, HellRaisers did quite well. In that last round, Dan, you could just see that HellRaisers was a little bit, I wouldn't say confused, but they broke their own Selma with a nade. That's not something